What is up, everyone? Welcome back to GrayDays TV, and today I'm going to be talking about the mysterious disappearance of Alyssa McLemore. Alyssa lived with her mother, grandmother, and daughter in Kent, Washington at the time of her disappearance in April of 2009. Her daughter was 3 years old at the time, and Alyssa was described as a very devoted mother. The 21-year-old enjoyed dancing and roller skating, and she dropped out of Kent Meridian High School in her sophomore year. She was also unemployed at the time of her disappearance and very close with her mother, who at the time was dying from a very serious autoimmune disease. Alyssa was last heard from on the evening of April 9th of 2009, when her grandmother called her, letting her know that her mother's condition was worsening. And Alyssa assured her grandmother that she would come home, but she never arrived, which is very odd considering how close she was with her mother. And sadly, Alyssa's mother died 3 days later, and the family was still not able to get in contact with Alyssa. So once the missing persons investigation started, a witness actually reported seeing Alyssa in Kent the day she disappeared, near 30th Avenue South and Kent Des Moines Road. Now this area is near several highways and major roads that funnel commuters into the larger cities like Seattle and Tacoma, one of them being the I-5 freeway. The area is also frequented by prostitutes and the customers of those prostitutes, and Alyssa actually has a history of prostitution arrests. And the witness saw a green 1990s model pickup truck, possibly with Oregon license plates, approach Alyssa, but it isn't clear whether or not Alyssa actually entered the vehicle. And a later eyewitness also reported seeing Alyssa sometime before her disappearance with an unknown male. The man is described as Caucasian in his 50s or 60s, standing about 5'8" and weighing about 185 pounds. He drove a green pickup truck, and although it's unclear whether he had anything to do with Alyssa's disappearance, it is believed that Alyssa knew who he was. So early on in the investigation, it became clear to investigators that Alyssa's cell phone dialed 911 around 9:15 on April 10th, the day after she had last been seen. And the 911 operator said she heard a woman call for help before the call abruptly ended. And unfortunately for Alyssa, the phone did not have GPS, and which I found weird at first, but this did happen in 2009. I think the iPhone 3GS was announced that same year. So GPS on cell phones wasn't that big of a thing. But it really sucks to read about this case and see that if GPS was a bigger thing at that point in time in cell phones, they would have been able to locate Alyssa probably. But because the phone didn't have GPS, investigators weren't able to locate Alyssa, but they were able to determine that the cell phone that made the call did belong to Alyssa. And a few days after the call was placed, the phone actually went out of service and it wasn't able to receive text messages anymore. So in the early years of Alyssa's disappearance, her friends and family did as much as they could to keep her name and face in the public eye. And authorities focused their searches in the nearby cities of Seattle and Tacoma. Investigators have also claimed to have looked at several possible doe matches for Alyssa, but failed to make any positive IDs. And due to the circumstances of her disappearance, Alyssa is considered to be in danger and listed as endangered missing. Now, as far as the theories go on what actually happened to Alyssa, I would say there are three major theories. The first, like always, is that she disappeared on her own accord to start over somewhere else. And that's always going to be a theory that pops up when someone just disappears. But like most cases, this theory seems to be the most unlikely. She was known to be very close with her mother, so it doesn't really make sense that she would not only peace out on her mother in the last days of her life, but also the rest of her family, including her 3-year-old daughter. Plus, the 911 call that she made wouldn't really make sense if she was trying to disappear without a trace. Which brings me to the second theory, that she was kidnapped and forced into human trafficking. Again, this is a very common theory to come about when a woman goes missing, but it's also very likely, especially when you consider the area she was last seen was an area frequented by prostitutes. That to me sounds like it would be the perfect area for a predator to find their next victim. So it would make sense if she did disappear from that location, that she could possibly be put into human trafficking. Now, the final theory is that she was kidnapped and killed, which would also explain the 911 call that abruptly ended. Maybe she got free for a few seconds and was able to try and make a call, but then whoever kidnapped her found her and ended the call abruptly. But again, these are all speculations, and no one knows if any of these theories are true. But if I had to choose my own theory to believe in, I would say number 2 and 3 are probably the most likely. So Alyssa is described as being 5'1" to 5'3" and around 130 pounds. Her hair is naturally black, although she may bleach it. And although she vanished when she was 21, she would currently be 32 years old. And anyone with information related to Alyssa's case is encouraged to call 253-856-5800, which is the Kent Police Department, and speak to a detective. So like I said, I believe the second and third theory are the most likely. And I've said this before in videos, I'll say it again. If I had to choose, if I was able to choose which one of those two would be I would want more for the person that I loved, it would be that they were killed. Just because I couldn't imagine someone going missing, you never see them again, and to think they might be getting tortured and raped and all of these things somewhere randomly, you know? I feel like that would hurt more than just, I would try to make myself believe at least that they were just dead somewhere. It would make me feel better. But I personally don't believe there's anything worse than not knowing what happened to someone you love, to a family member. For them to just disappear one day and you just never hear from them ever again. You don't know what happened to them. That's got to be one of the worst feelings I could imagine. But that's all I have to say about this case. Let me know what you guys think about this. What theory do you think is the most likely? Or do you have theories of your own? I'd love to hear them. But until next time, I hope you guys continue to have a great day, great week, great month, great year. And I will catch you next video.